Welcome everybody to my presentation. I want to talk about what is human resource management and specifically what is it to the organization of National Economics University. I'm John Andre. You can see my student ID here, and let me begin with the presentation. The organization I'm going to focus on today is National Economics University. You've probably heard about it. It's one of the largest universities in Vietnam. We have about 50,000 students, and the reason why I chose NEU is that I have a lot of friends who work there. So one of the things we need to look at is what are the functions that we normally include in human resource management. And if we look at the textbook called Human Resource Management, you can see that it includes many things, including staffing, which involves planning and recruiting and selection, retention, all of these sorts of things. It includes the development of workplace policies, the rules and regulations that happen inside the company. Administration of pay and benefits, making sure people get their salaries and get their insurance benefits, etc. Employee retention, which is about holding employees and getting them to stay and not quit, as well as training and development to make sure that staff is able to do the new tasks that the business or the organization will require in the future. Also dealing with employment laws such as health and safety laws, and of course communications to spread all the information around the organization. Now, when we look at the way that those different functions are handled at NEU, we really see a split. For example, one group is the stuff that is handled by the individual schools, such as the International School of Management and Economics, or the faculties. They are responsible for hiring and for the administration of pay. Now, hiring here is, of course, the selection, the recruitment, all that kind of things. They're also responsible for training and development, making sure that their staff actually have all of the skills they need for the future. There are other functions which are handled by the HR department within NEU, which includes developing school-wide policies, administration of benefits, and dealing with employment laws. Communication is handled by various people throughout the university, depending on what's being communicated. Now, when we look at how does HRM help NEU, we need to look at the objective. So the objective of NEU is to educate the next generation of leaders for Vietnam. And the university is very big. And we have this danger, right? The more centralized the functions of HRM, the more disconnected those functions become from the students. And our objective is to serve the students, to educate the students. So we don't want too many things that are really disconnected from the students. We want things as close to the students as possible. And so the HR policies ensure some things are fair, like common benefits across everybody, but still have flexibility. So pay is decided locally. So we have a little bit of both. The other thing is that employment laws change very often, and so the HR departments can specialize in that legal aspect, which saves time for others. How do we measure performance in HR? Well, the university is regulated by the Ministry of Education and Training, and so whenever there's any violation, then there are fines for the university, or sanctions. Sanctions just means punishment. And those get tracked, and so we look at those as the negative things. But they also measure the average time to hire. So the longer it takes to hire somebody once they've been selected by the school or the faculty, the shorter the time, the better. And the time to implement new policy. The number of candidates that get lost to bureaucracy is also important. That is, when the faculty wants to hire somebody and the HR department needs to verifying all the documents, getting them registered with the ministry, etc., if that takes too long, then the people are going to find another job, and that's going to be a big problem. Now, this is an issue because higher education is competitive. When we want to hire a great teacher, especially in economics and business, we compete not just with other universities, but with companies. So if we're too slow, we're going to lose a great teacher, and that is a real problem. Now, according to some research that was done by the Society of Human Resource Management, which is the main organization to track human resource management around the world, they found that the average time to hire somebody was 42 days and cost a little over $4,000. And so if we delay too much, then maybe the person we wanted to hire as a teacher, they end up going somewhere else because somebody else offered them a job with an earlier start date, and then we have to start again. And so if we delay too much and the candidate ends up taking another job, then it might have cost us maybe $2,000 or $3,000 so far, but we didn't actually hire that person. And so now we have to start again. And so we spend another $4,000 to hire the next person. So we end up spending $6,000 or $7,000 to hire somebody if we're slow. And the biggest problem is we're most likely to miss the best candidates because those have the highest demand. And so losing candidates to bureaucracy is a real issue for the university. The things to remember from this presentation is HRM is not always done, like textbooks say, and each organization needs to find their own way. And it's important to react very quickly if we want to hire the best people. And on my slides, you can see some references along with my notes. Does anybody have any questions?